Shalom, man. Oh. Mm. I get my antioxidants in. Hold on. Whoo! That watermelon busting, you already know. We never dodging the allegations. I need a 3X on my bag so I can buy a new car and take 90-day vacation overseas. Don't we all, Hall of Fame? God damn, this bussin'. Floral, I see you post that every time. We ain't streaming the zero bar. We on different platforms. We on different time zones. What's the word, chat? And them antioxidants in. You put salt on yours? You be putting some salt on yours, bro? I ain't never put no salt on no watermelon. Damn, bro. How you put salt on watermelon? That's crazy. You put salt on watermelon? That's kind of like taking the... You know what I'm saying? Hey, you eating watermelon too? I told him, man. We ain't, you know what I'm saying? We ain't never beating the stereotype, bro. We ain't never beating them allegations on the stereotype, bro. Wait, what? All right. W's in the chat. I like that one. Put watermelon in the blender with the lemon juice and passion fruit. You lost me with the salt. The honey, I'm a big honey fan because honey has really, really good health benefits, chat. But you lost me with the salt. Boy, I ain't putting no salt on no watermelon. Hell nah. This watermelon too good to ruin it putting salt on it, bro. That's like throwing shade, bro. You about to put some salt on it. All right, we done. Chat, is y'all bearish, bro? I know y'all ain't bearish. I know y'all ain't bearish, bro. Ain't no way y'all bearish. Y'all, please don't tell me y'all bearish. All right, let's look what we got going on. We got KG in here. We got Lone Wolf in here. Hall of Fame, Pie Guys. We got the OGs in here. Let's get it started. All right, so everybody's mad about the market, right? We should be numb to it at this point in time. Every time we get momentum, they come out and do some wild, allegedly. Now, the PPI data is not even the part that wowed me. The first thing that wowed me was yesterday, right? When I think it was maybe 2 days ago when Bitcoin surpassed Google by market cap. And then Google dropped that news that they were like against the crypto wallets being listed on the Play Store or whatever. And they planned on removing them. And then they took a lot of backlash. And then they said, oh, we're not going to remove them. That was one thing, right? Then we had the PPI data, what was way off compared to anything that we've seen so far. Like it was 0.9%. It was almost a full point off, right? This is after the data came out about the job data. So it seems like they competing, right? It seems like allegedly they competing. Like Trump said, hey, we need that job data to look good. So Jay Powell, he look at the data, we get the rate cuts. They said, okay, I got y'all. We got y'all. We gonna hit y'all with the PPI, and we gonna make it so bad that it's gonna look like inflation is back, right? So that's pretty much what has happened, right? But then a little bit earlier today, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent came out and said they had no plans on buying any Bitcoin. They were going to just use the Bitcoin that has been seized for the Treasury. I don't know if Big Dog made the call, But an hour ago, he switched up his whole stance after saying that they weren't even going to buy no Bitcoin. He says now, 1 hour later, the whole stance allegedly has been switched. He says, in addition, Treasury is committed to exploring a budget neutral pathway to acquiring more Bitcoin. So, again, right? If anybody else did this, people would be like, the inconsistencies, right? It's in the timing of the inconsistencies is the part that really throws me off, and why I gotta just smile, right? And you gotta just smile, right? And I like I said, somebody was in the comments of one of my videos. I think dude blocked me on X, called me the R word, right? And then blocked me on X because I guess I wasn't Moon Boy bullish enough. And the only thing I did was I explained how people are looking at the data. I'm also explaining how I don't even trust this data, and it's odd the timing of the data based on what we have known before that and the momentum of the cryptocurrency space. I don't know, chat. Maybe I'm tripping. Y'all let me know. But is it me, or is the timing of this shit always odd, bro, when we get at all-time highs? So, today I did buy the dip. I bought a few coins today. I'm not going to tell you what coins I bought, right? I may share them with some of the private groups. But I did buy crypto today. So I said all that to say this. I personally was a buyer today because as I look across my charts, I'm sticking to my thesis. Bitcoin dominance is still bearish. Ethereum is still bullish. And I just, I'm sticking to my thesis until we get an ultimate RSI cross on any of the major charts that I'm looking. That's personally, how I'm rocking with it, right? Total cryptocurrency market, in my opinion, you see the volume still higher than it was last week, right? So this is an uptrend also in volume, despite, and it probably would have been higher if we didn't have this massive sell-off day. So today I was a crypto buyer. I know some people think that this is bearish, but I am looking at it as a opportunity to be productive because I haven't really been buying crypto. So I got an opportunity to really get a few Ethereum tokens that could possibly go on a massive rally if Ethereum creates an altcoin season. So today I was a personal buyer, not financial. I'm not telling anybody, and that's why I'm not telling you the coins that I personally bought. But yes, I'm not looking at this as a bearish correction. I'm still on the side of being bullish, right? The total 3 is showing a little bit of weakness here on the ultimate RSI, but again, haven't gotten that cross. So I'm going to trust my instincts, trust my TA, and trust my thesis, and use my model to help confirm some of my thesis and things that I personally see. At the end of the day, we're still 90% chance of getting a Fed cut. And I believe the market right now is being suppressed. So even if there was a pause, it's going to be a healthy correction because now everybody is anticipating that the market is ready to explode. So, I don't know if the elites didn't want it to happen yet. It's cool. Like I said, I'm not too much concerned. Let me know how y'all feeling. How y'all feeling out there? We got 35 people in here. We show up in the green days. We show up in the red days. Make sure you like and fucking subscribe. Comment. Engage. Get involved. Chat. What we on, chat? Let's see what we got. What we got here? Crypto info, permabull. Hey, you gotta be optimistic. You never know till you try. Yeah, I'm optimistic about this market right now while our bag's getting crushed. So that's enough optimistic that the hopium that you need, man, that shade and that salt, dog. We optimistic about the market right now. Let's get it. W template, appreciate it, man. This is why you always hold a bag of stables to buy the dip. Pie guys. You already know I had them stables ready. We talked about this, pie guys. We talked about this. I had them stables ready. And I personally don't believe retail is here. I look at app rankings. I look at sentiment. I look at Lunar Crush. These are tools that I use. If you are DJing, you know the type of shit that I'm talking about, right? but I also look at the Google trend metrics. So I am of the belief that retail isn't here. Who's excited for Hall of Fame podcast tomorrow? I'm gonna ask them about this market. If it's the top, if this the double top, are we entering a super cycle? What's going on, guys? Y'all can't tell me that wasn't odd how he was on national TV, allegedly a national, bro was like, hey, we ain't buying big on it. And like an hour later, he kind of had to switch them words. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Is it gonna go? The best thing is have thesis or everything in the crypto verse. It's all love, yo, KG. Just a little pullback, right? AZ Marine, you bought some Say. Say is pretty good, man. I had some Say a while back. I used to hold the meme coin on Say called Millie because the name was Millie. But then they wasn't even rocking with me, bro. I would be trying to tag them and post them and retweet Millie. So Millie on Say. Yeah, like Millie was trying to like rock with you, but you wasn't showing me no love. It's all love at the end of the day. It's all love. But I did like the name of that token. But unfortunately, they not fucking with me. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Give me a bag of Mavia. I was trying to say and suing basically against all their ones. Let's check it out, chat. Let's check it out. Say and Sui. We haven't looked at those in a while. Let's check it out, chat. If you smell what the right here's hey. Okay, say looks good. Say looks good. We got our ultimate RSI cross. Until we see real weakness on this indicator, I would look for Say to get above this 50-day moving average. Still heavy resistance. I want to check out my script and see if we get any buy or sell signals. Still heavy resistance there at that 50-day moving average, right? It may have wanted to get over the 50-day moving average because of the macro. And guys, at the end of the day, like I said, altcoin season, none of that shit has been confirmed, okay? Until we end this restrictive policy, until we really end inflation, we ain't finna have no altcoin. See, you see how the macro always keep us in line. Every time we think we about to get up out of there, the macro always be like, you still a little boy. You still a little dude. You feel me? So got that sell signal there, which means that 50-day moving average is extreme resistance. But again, if Ethereum starts that rally, you'll see strong ecosystems. Like Say has a strong ecosystem. It has some of the same, influencers that, push Casper and things like that. So I think that Say and Sui really in a good spot. I heard Aptos was a really, really good beta play to Sui because they're doing some things in the RWA market opposed to just focusing on retail and memes and stuff like that. Sui here a little bit more stronger than Say, still above those moving averages like we like to see. In a little bit of an uptrend, don't want to see a lower high here. Did print a sell signal, but I would assume that the ultimate trend here is bullish. We just put up that ultimate RSI. Yes, still above that orange line, but showing a bit of weakness. So Say definitely may be the better trade if you look at potential. Sui has been the stronger product company, whatever you want to call it, but Sui has had a nice little run. So Sui is a little bit extended there, but who knows where we could possibly go if ETH takes us to Valhalla, right? So no one knows what these altcoins are about to do until we get confirmation that this is a double top, triple top, whatever you want to call it, or we invalidate price discovery with Ethereum and a little bit of that capitulation with the Bitcoin dominance. I personally think the market is waiting on the macro. The macro is kind of keeping us suppressed there, and we just have to accept it at the end of the day. We just gotta accept it at the end of the day. We got 51 people in here. Make sure that you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and keep your favorite crypto and door-to-door entrepreneur inside the algorithms. And always comment. Love talking to the chat. AZ, what's up? What up, Charles? Uh, altcoin season is such a stupid word. Really, people should just trade what they see. But the dips, yeah, altcoin season is one of those things that got like people's minds like zapped. Like the only fucking thing they know is altcoin season. If it ain't altcoin season, it ain't crypto. The only thing they need and want is alt season in that definition. And it's because a lot of the crypto goats, the crypto YouTubers, the forefathers ahead of us kind of like pounded that definition of alt season in our head, and that's what people truly believe, right? The newer crowd that's coming into crypto, they kind of like understand that this has been a trader's market. If you were able to be a part of those different bubbles, or unfortunately be part of groups and stuff like that, then you probably made a good little bit of money this market. But if you have been like waiting on that true definition of altcoin season, truly it just hasn't happened yet. And at the end of the day, I just think it's because we're in restrictive policy. That's just how things work. And until this economy is correct and this inflation is ceased, we're going to continue to just have these, failed rallies. It just is what it is. That doesn't mean that we're not gradually going up, though, because it may not be an explosive rally like everybody wants, but you can't deny that it's been a trend to the upside. So you can say what you want to say, but at the end of the day, the trend is your friend until the end. That's just is what it is. I asked you about Iceland on ETH yesterday, but it was towards the end of your live. He's alts have been. All right. Hey, bro, if you don't mind, can you review? I don't even know what that is, bro. What is that? You sell half and you got yourself the free bag. Yeah, man. Adrian, I never heard of that token. What is that? Ike Gaon Son? I don't even know what that is. That's just crazy. So, chat, what we looking at? What is the market telling us? Is it the top? Is it Overwood? Who freaking knows, man? That's one thing I ain't never trying to act like I know, right? Especially in where we're at right now. Hold on, let's get this YouTube pulled up here and monetized. Y'all think we gonna pump going in towards the end of the week, like weekend pump, or you think like the rest of the, especially in the rest of the week, about to be hold on. I'm not rich yet. It can't be the top. Oh man, I know, right? How the DXY looking? Let's see how the DXY looking, man. Man, you just crypto, bro. DXY still bearish, man. The DXY is still bearish. But no, that report was crazy, right? They came out and they was just like, when I seen the PPI, I was like, wow, how could the CPI be like how it was, and then the PPI just be that terrible, right? So like, apparently the businesses, right, are being affected, and soon they are saying because the businesses are already starting to be affected, they will inflect us with higher prices because they are already starting to feel those tariffs. So in hindsight, when you see Powell sit up there and say the data, he's basically saying he's trying to see what the tariffs are creating, right? And yeah, it's just gonna be interesting, right? I mean, it's really gonna be interesting here, right? 1 month doesn't make a trend. July could be an outlier driven by temporary tariff adjustments. Businesses absorbing the cost. Companies eating tariff costs rather than passing to the consumers show margin pressure, not demand inflation. Um, Take that however you take it. Labor market cooling. Recent jobs data suggests economy slowing, giving Fed cover to cut despite this print. CPI came in at expectations. Producer prices (PPI) just way off, right? Says the Fed has room to still be restrictive. Small cuts won't reignite inflation, so they're saying a 0.25 is not going to bring back inflation, right? And we still got a 90% chance that that happens. Now the bear thesis is right, and then I guess some people in the video, they was just don't understand that there's always a bull and a bear thesis. It's not just one way. I mean, that's just not how life works. Broad-based acceleration, not just tariffs, services, core and super core all spike significantly. Pipeline pressure building, producer prices lead consumer prices. This signals future CPI trouble. 1.1% services jump shows labor intensive sectors seeing persistent inflation. So I guess like that was where the bulk of it was the services jump, right? And like I said, anybody in that area, let me how do you personally feel about this? Tariff transmission starting, companies will eventually pass costs to the consumers. That's what I was just talking about. So that was kind of like the elephant in the room, right? Will we start feeling this because the companies are already feeling it? Cutting rates while producer inflation accelerates undermines inflation fight. So if they're saying if they cut the rates or go crazy with cutting rates, that kind of undermines everything that they've been talking about for the last few years of getting inflation down to 2%. And this was the largest spike since 2022. This magnitude of increase historically leads to sustained higher inflation. Basically, we don't want the inflation coming back. And my motto is actually saying that the bear thesis is more compelling. Now, I'm bullish, right? But the motto here is saying that the bear thesis is more compelling. It says this PPI spike is material and broad-based, not a statistical fluke. The combination of services acceleration, core strength, and tariff passing through creates a compelling case that inflation pressures are accelerating. Chat, that was in the chat. Let me know how y'all feel about that thesis. I mean, are we starting to feel inflation again? Let me know, man. Let me know. All right. So the 50 point rate cut is out of there, right? That's what the market was pricing in. The market was like, yo, we about to get a 50, send it, right? And they came out and it was like, they hit the whip. They whipped it up, right? They whipped up the PPI. And they be like revising data, right? Allegedly the data sometimes get revised, right? So they just whipped it up real quick. Like, yeah, y'all got too excited. Where y'all think y'all was going at? Where y'all think y'all was going at? You good, bud? They did us dirty, bro. Alts have made people money they never had before. Remember that? Yeah, alts have made people money, man. Some people think they haven't though. It's just like I said. No, I don't think it's over. You got Trump speaking tomorrow while Putin. That's crazy anytime. Yeah, they're saying Scott, the same guy that was talking about Bitcoin not adding treasury, now maybe we're looking to like efficiently find ways to do it. They're supposed to have like the crypto talk tomorrow or something like that. So don't get too overly invested into this red day. That's the moral what I see from it. I'm not even finna get shooken at all. I feel like we got something special coming. hey, it is what it is. That's just how I feel, right? I feel like the next leg, because this is how I look at it, right? I look at all of the treasury companies that Bitcoin has, and then I look at Ethereum, which only has 10, Bitcoin has 110. I look at what Rand was talking about earlier about Solana now getting treasury companies. Then I look at BitTensor, right? My largest holding, which also has treasury companies, right? That's a whole nother narrative, right? That's a whole nother narrative. But what I'm saying is that Bitcoin went from 15K to 120, right? That's like almost like what, basically a little bit more than a 10x, right? A little bit more than a 10x. So we sitting here, and I guess you can say what Ethereum went to. If Ethereum went from 900, would a 10x would be like what, 9K or something like that, 10K. Like, if Bitcoin was able to do a 10x, right? Why is we not thinking Ethereum can't do a little bit more than what Bitcoin did, right? Because in when you think about it in hindsight, right? Or in theory, should I say, ETH has a lower market cap than Bitcoin, right? It's also one of those low supply tokens, right? So it can go high in price. So when I think about that, I'm like, sometimes I feel like we underestimate what ETH could do. It probably could do some damage, because if Bitcoin at that type of market cap was able to do that type of damage, who's to say the type of damage Ethereum can do? That's kind of like the conflict that I have with like how high ETH can go. I'm not saying how high ETH can go, but I'm just comparing it to what we've seen so far from Bitcoin's run. And I'm like, we talking about ETH only going to like what, 5K, 6K? That's kind of light when you think about how this asset was able to move with this massive market cap, and Ethereum has a smaller market cap than that. It's the same thing we say about low caps and micro caps, and how we feel like we can get bigger X's from micro caps and small caps. So, like, that's why I wouldn't be surprised if Ethereum surprises a lot of people, because a lot of people done got beat up so bad that we just suppressed. We like a dog with his tail tucked in. We don't see no hope. We don't see nothing. We only, this is what it is. So, and mind you, Bitcoin did do that while we had a whole bunch of fucking tokens. So it's not like the dilution really stopped Bitcoin from doing a 10x. So who's to say the dilution really gonna stop Ethereum from doing a 15x? That's just like just a theory. Chat, let me know. 8x for Bitcoin. What's up, Dwayne? That is true. That is like an 8x. 150,000 would be a 10x. My apologies, pod guys. But you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Like, if BTC was able to do an 8x, right? Like, I think Ethereum should be able to do more X's than Bitcoin. That's the whole point that I'm making. Still 92% chance of a 0.25 cut. Yeah. And chat, leave like the stream. Yeah, bro. My bad, man. I went to public schools, chat. Don't go too crazy on me. Don't, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? People make mistakes. My apologies. Pie guys, thank you for the assist, baby. Appreciate it. Bro, what type of question is, bro? Y'all be acting something, bro. How much time I done did? 31 minutes and already seeing wild questions, bro. Like, no offense, bro, but please, real Juicy, I don't even, you know what I'm saying, bro? Let's not do that. It's all love, good brother, but nah, I don't know about none of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, shit. But that's really it, chat. I don't really know what to say past that. At all. I don't really know what to say past that. ETH should be able to close 0.1 BTC, so that is about 10 to 12K target. Okay, that's fair. Right, because ETH is coming from $900, right? ETH is coming. I think ETH was $900, right? When Bitcoin was 15K, I think ETH was like 900, $1,000. So like that seems more realistic, right? I think 10K, 12K. You know what I mean? We should be accepting nothing less than that, right? Nothing less than that. But the market is just, the market. Like I said, the market got beat up so much. We still all in the basement. We still all in the basement. Yeah, man. It's all love, real Juicy. But yeah. Let me check out Iceland, bro. My apologies. I didn't see, I seen that when you asked me, but I did get off the stream like right when you asked me. So let me check it out first before I actually bring it on my screen. But yeah, I was a buyer today, man. I did buy some altcoins. You know what I mean? Iceland on ETH. $830. You talking about the one with an $830,000 market cap? I don't know about this, bro. Yeah, this is like, yeah, I can't really show this on the Iceland. Yeah, this is like one from like at least a year ago, bro. I think I remember somebody talking about Iceland, but it was at the around that time it was looking a little bit more promising because Land Wolf was pumping, but I think that if Land Wolf pump, then you'll see like little derivatives of Land Wolf pump as well. But I think the main one is 067, right? That's the one that I have most interest in, right? Yeah, the Iceland on ETH, it's just not. It doesn't have enough volume, so I'm not really gonna bring it on the screen, man. My apologies, brother. Yeah, it's a Land Wolf meme. It's another version of Land Wolf. It's like they got a whole bunch of different Land Wolf type of people. I'm seeing some new faces, man. Maybe retail is coming back. Let me check. Maybe retail is entering the chat. I'm seeing some new faces, bro. Some new faces. I'm seeing some new names, man. What are we talking about? Altcoins? So what did y'all do? Did y'all buy the dip or y'all was like, nah, I'm chilling, man? Y'all was like, nah, I'm chilling. I ain't buying the dip. The altcoin index just fell off the map. It just like died. Like, man, look at it. It just fell off the map. Like it was mad interest like towards the end of July. And then soon as that dip hit, everybody was like, nope, they ain't about to get me. Not yet. Now, for real though, I think that crypto is gonna catch a lot of people off guard, bro. All right, so the PPI spike is material based and broad based, signaling inflation isn't fully under control. The risk is not a temporary pop, but a persistent rise in producer prices, especially services, feeding into future inflation cycles, man. So is we gonna be able to take care of inflation or not, chat? Bro, is we gonna be able to get out of the clinches of the trenches restrictive policy here? MDG, and you think Peak can reach a 7 billion? If Peak hit a $7 billion market cap, that would be a 100x for you. When did you get into Peak? What? Peak has a pretty high market cap, so 7 billion would be 700 million. Yeah, 7 billion. Wow, that is. I never really thought about that, man. And you think about the tokens that's at 7 billion. I mean, how high do we think the? I don't. Maybe not this cycle, right? I mean, but it's like, how do you how do you cap the potential of the machine economy, right? They're developing basically an environment where machines can live, right? Like physical robot world for them. Basically a blockchain for AI, like a true blockchain for physical AI. Like, and then you got the beta play, in my opinion, right here. Well, you got a little bit of free Randy there, Iceland. You got a little bit of free Randy there, Iceland. But then you got the beta play here. Let's get that ungrouped. What the heck? Ungroup. All right, which is a Yuki. Now, I personally hold both of these projects, by the way. I hold Peak and I hold a Yuki here. So, man, this has been a massive just like accumulation. Bro, I feel like when a Yuki pop, it's going to pop like Zora, one of them, like Zora. But, yeah, so the accumulation has been so good with a Yuki. I think the whole main thing here with Peak has been the token dilution. So the early investors just selling their tokens, and we're just trying to find that floor here. You want to see Peak starting to do this, right? You want to see Peak starting to put in an accumulation pattern, and we just looks like it's finally starting to find its floor. You can see the ultimate RSI just has been absolutely dog water, terrible. But this is a really good project. Sometimes good projects. I mean, it's hard to say. Some people say a good project is reflected by the chart, right? People say that, and I don't want to say that's necessarily wrong. But there are some really, really good projects that's not reflected by the chart, man. It's like everybody time is different. We've seen charts like this, and I personally, if I'm finding initial entries or I'm accumulating projects, I'm accumulating projects that charts that look like this. This right here, Peak, textbook, weekly, starting accumulation, a Yuki, weekly chart, and just accumulation, which means it has a floor and it's been holding that floor for a couple months, right? Now, to answer your question, it just depends on how valuable do we believe Wall Street values the machine economy. I mean, that is AI. But like, is this before its time? Who knows? Who knows? Right? It just depends on how fast Elon starts selling those physical. Like, when you see people having them robots in their house, a project like this probably is sitting at 5, 6, 7 billion. A project like this is probably, we're not there yet. Maybe peak potential is based on if we can truly accomplish AGI, right? This is like AGI happens anytime in the next 2 years, this probably will explode. So I like Peak and I like Ayuki. They collaborated. I think there's wonderful opportunity there if you're into AI. But just always go do your research, right? Always go do your research. I'm saying you can find charts like this all the time. Of course, Peak is a little bit of more attractive because it's listed on top exchanges, right? So normies have access to this. I know people who are in Peak private sale. I wouldn't bet on 7 billion. They dump when they get their tokens. Yeah, that's been the whole thing about Peak, right? It's been like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Will the early investors let it breathe? That's just really what it is. Will the early investors let it breathe? It's the same thing when you look at the pump token, right? If pump does an airdrop, you're gonna ask yourself the question, right? Are the airdrop receivers gonna immediately sell, right? And some people, they're like that. As soon as they get an airdrop, as soon as their tokens unlock, they immediately sell, right? So that creates selling pressure for the project. And when you got that type of selling pressure, it also creates FUD, which creates more selling pressure because you always got somebody saying some bullshit. You always got somebody FUDing a project. You always got, and it don't even got to be true. Most of the time, like 75% of the time, I know a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of that FUD be not even fucking true. If you go on chain, like if a person is not attaching on-chain fucking metrics with FUD, it's not true. It's not true. That's the whole point of blockchain. Transparency and trust, right? So like if a person is not confirming that on the blockchain, more times than not, it's not true, right? You'll have your outliers. I'm not saying that you won't, but like things that FUD can easily be confirmed on the blockchain. That's why we have the fucking blockchain. Like that's why everything's moving to the blockchain. Yeah, area tokens are great shorts. Hey, that's diabolical, Pie Guys. That is diabolical. No using the chat, bro. Yeah, as soon as he see a token got an airdrop coming, bro is short. That is some crazy work. Yeah, man. That's just, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. All right, so that's pretty much it, chat. I'm gonna get up out of here, man. It's Thirsty Thursday. We hung. We talked about the market. Any more comments? What we on? He said it's free money, bro. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that shorting is not as hard as it looks, right? They got all of these new perpetual platforms. I personally like Jupiter Perps. And you can short the market, man. Of course, they don't got every token, but they got the platforms like Hyper and stuff like that where you can actually short, fucking Deej and shit, right? But if you want to just stick to like the blue chips, Jupiter Perp, I think it's Jupiter. Jupiter Perps is actually a really, really good platform, and they make it nice and easy for you. And you can long and short the market. But of course, risk management. If you ain't got money to do that, I wouldn't play around with that. That's a little bit of a different game than just like buying and holding, because you can get liquidated, and if you get liquidated, you can lose everything. So at the end of the day, that's not for everybody, right? The main thing here is find your own style of investing. But with all of these laws, pushing staking and everything else, a lot of these companies have opened up the door in some places, even in the States, for those type of platforms. So there's an opportunity there if you understand charting. You don't have to be like a TA expert to long or short. You have an understanding of charting, trends, moving averages, and momentum. You can. It's just like trading, right? You can make it happen. So, study it though. Make sure you paper trade first. Put that out there. You always use paper trade. There's all type of apps where you can practice first. Practice makes perfect. And if you can become profitable by paper trading, that's when you start to, don't just jump head first like I did. I'm telling you, don't do that. Don't jump head first. Learn, man. Learn. Take the time. If it's just an hour out of your day, and learn. Don't just do some shit because a YouTuber came up here and said, oh, dude, he probably was watching fucking video and just was decided to tell y'all to do the shit too. So just learn. Just learn. All right, I'm up out of here, guys. I use on Hyperliquid. Right there, playing Paradex. That's interesting. I never heard of that one. You playing that on purpose? I have to check it out. You can send release more money, maybe $100 and learn that. Oh, I'll have to check it out, man. Reposted this stream. Appreciate it, man. Whoever reposted the stream, I appreciate that. I'm seeing comments from like other platforms now, so that's actually a good thing, right? We're starting to grow here. We're starting to get comments from other platforms. So that's what I like, man. That's what I like. But yeah, we on Thursday, first day of the second half of the working week. Let's go into Friday with some momentum, positive mental attitude. Don't let this shake you out, man. Don't let it shake you out. This right here, trust me, like you can feel like max bearish. This ain't it. This ain't max. This ain't it, right? This don't feel. I know how max bearishness feel. This don't it. I mean, just yesterday, Bitcoin and Ethereum was both hanging around all-time highs, and the market was insanely quiet, right? So that's another thing of why I say retail is because the market was just insanely quiet. So I'm still bullish, right? Our model explained why the PPI hit like that, right? But we got a bull and a bear thesis to work off, right? And you can study and do your own research and make your decision from there. So I'm gonna holla at you guys. Appreciate it. Smash that like button. Yeah. Appreciate that, Mr. D. And I'm going to holler at y'all, man. It's your boy Crypto Millie. I'll see you in the next one.